Hello, my name's James. I'm a portrait photographer from Portsmouth in the UK. You have probably not heard of me, and I welcome you to this live chat on a Thursday night. Every Thursday night, 7 p.m, we are talking to a different photographer from around the world about their 3 favorite images. We got a hell of a photographer for you tonight. We are crossing the Atlantic, born in Portland, Maine, educated in Rochester, New York, and currently residing in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She is the Christmas Dreamland Building reportage wedding shooting master, PPA diamond winning, female empowering, always educating. She is the cocktail connoisseur, the super fan of all things musical theater. And it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Let's go back in time with the amazing Jen Stitt. Hi Jen, how are you?
Hey, how's it going?
Really, really good. Now, people are joining us live, and there should be comments enabled this week. There weren't comments available last week because YouTube has a tiny little box that I didn't tick. And unfortunately, no one could join in the live chat. Jen's joining us from across the Atlantic. I want to know where you're joining us from in the live chat. So put your comments in the box below. Let us know where you're watching from. Jen, what is the best musical theatre production you have ever been seeing? I know you've seen hundreds. You come specifically to London every year, not just to speak at the convention, but mainly to visit our amazing West End Sea musical theatre. What musical theatre it left the biggest impression on you?
Oh my gosh, that is a loaded question, and we may need like 4 hours to even like begin to chat about that. I think the favorite one that I saw when I was at the West End was probably, oh man, probably Back to the Future. I'm gonna say it. It was Back to the Future.
Someone warned me off Back to the Future when I went to go and see Back to the Future. I'm not seeing Back to the Future. It's not very good. I went with my whole family. It was amazing. Mayor Goldie Wilson stole the show.
Stole the show. Absolutely insane.
Absolutely insane. Ronnie Keller has let us know that he's joining us from Switzerland.
Well, hello.
From the EU, from Europe. So thank you very much, Ronnie. Thanks for joining us. Let us know in the chat where you're joining us from. And if you do have a question for Jen at any point during this next 30 to 35 minutes, drop it in and we will ask Jen your questions. Jen, you're currently just outside of Philadelphia in Pennsylvania. You're in your studio. It's looking it's almost beginning to look festive there. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. What's going on in your studio?
Well, I feel like I live every year in like the nightmare before Christmas era, where it's not even how, like I literally have Halloween candy on my desk.
Nice.
But we start decorating and getting Christmas set up pretty much October 1st. I start brainstorming over the summer for the holiday sets that we set up. We set up 27 Christmas trees here in the studio. And we have 2 other sets that we rotate to really celebrate, I don't know, kind of the amazingness of the holidays. I really don't like those flat, plain backdrops where like the tree is printed on the backdrop. So we literally set up all the different props and things and try to make magic here in the studio for lots of little kids. Analog effects in studio. That is what we like to see. So this is Jen. If you haven't seen her before, you can go to Uncorked Jen on the Instagram and you'll be able to find her on there with an amazing feed of all sorts of different things going on there, including speaking at big events. You're a big educator, aren't you, Jen? Yeah, I love to travel, love to talk to other photographers about business and editing and workflow.
And photographing weddings in shark tanks. What's going on here?
Yeah, so that is one of my favorite venues in the area called Adventure Aquarium. Photograph lots of sharks and penguins and sometimes snakes they have there and fish.
And this is a venue quite close to your studio, isn't it? This was featured in a very famous feature film. Don't reveal which film it is. We'll reveal which film it is at the end. This is a very famous one, but your editing on that shot there, quite incredible. As you show us a little bit behind the scenes there as to how this was put together.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those moments where this guy proposing and he was trying to surprise his bride-to-be with everything. And of course, like when a guy drops down on a knee, everybody wants to stop and look and see what's going on. But of course, there was a guy standing right in between them. And I wanted to make sure she had the most perfect moment in memory from it.
Let us know in the comments if you know what movie that theatre is from, and we will reveal it towards the end. But most importantly, as we alluded to previously on this chat, as you see still images of you actually chatting on stage live with people, we're live with an audience. We see this guy. This is the big guy who's coming to your studio. He looks familiar as well. I don't know if there's anything going on there, but this is a guy. He comes to your studio every year, doesn't he?
He does. Since 2020, we've hosted Santa here at our studio.
Very exciting stuff. So we ask every photographer on a Thursday evening to provide us with 3 images to discuss. They're the 3 images, the 3 photographs that made them. 1 from the whole world of photography, 1 from their professional portfolio, and 1 personal photograph that means something to them. We're going to start off, I think, with something a little bit different. We're going to start off with this guy. Talk to us about this image, Jen. This is the first image that you chose for your favorite 3 images.
Yeah, so I mean, this one's a current favorite of mine. For anyone who doesn't know this guy here, this is my husband, Travis. And he's a little elusive in front of the camera lens. He's probably one of my most favorite people in the world to photograph, but he does not let me photograph him very often. So he finally gave me permission, I don't know, I think it was like a month ago, to set up a branding session for him. He had just gotten a new promotion at his job. He's doing some really big things here in the photography community. And he knows Santa very well. So he does have this little twinkle in his eye that I'm very lucky to see magic unfold at my studio with kids and my husband, and the twinkle in his eye. The red hat should be a key giveaway in that. But it was just a really special moment for me to be able to get him in front of my camera finally. And him really actually liked the images. I don't know how many of us photograph our spouse and they're like, what? That's what you took of me? And I think he actually liked this one. So
well, Fliss and I had to do a joint shoot, my wife and I, in our studio, and for a charity, because we were raising money. And I must have taken about 24 images where we're both looking at the camera, and she chose the one image where she wasn't looking at the camera; she was looking away. It's almost like an impossible job. But when like, so in terms of like, what things do you put in place then as a portrait photographer to get over those barriers when photographing your spouse?
I think it's to remember to be kind.
Okay.
I think we sometimes forget that our spouse is also human and has insecurities and has all these things that we're privy to hearing about all the time. Like, you know, we'll sit down and chat about things that make us both nervous or anxious, or things that we love or don't love about ourselves. And then we get them in front of a camera and we expect them to perform. You know, we're both in relationships where my husband is also a photographer, so he knows how to pose, he knows how to stand, he knows how to smile, yet you put him in front of a camera and I'm like, dude, did you forget everything you know?
Right.
But he's human, right? I think I would do the same exact thing. Like, what do you do with your hands? I don't know.
I think we took a series of professional headshots for Fliss for her new LinkedIn bio, and we filmed a lot of the behind the scenes for it, and that was quite crucial for us. We actually secured quite a number of bookings from it because it showed vulnerability, it showed the process, and it showed the fact that when we actually got the genuine reactions, it wasn't something you could fake. Like, to actually take a headshot that is authentic and real and believable and put someone through that process where they're surprised with what comes out of the other lens, what comes out the other side of the lens, you know, onto the computer, was a really, really good thing. It was a good marketing tool because Fliss could say to prospective clients who were coming to see us, hey, I've been through it. It's all well and good me being behind the camera and saying, oh no, I can do this, but I'm not the one who's having to put myself through it in terms of anxiety. And you speak about Travis's anxiety there with having his photograph taken. It strikes for me like one of the most confident men I've ever met. So it surprises me that you say that he has anxiety when having his photograph taken. But yeah, it's interesting to know that there's that side of him, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say.
He has very, very high expectations of himself, and you can put him in front of a camera and he performs, and he is absolutely amazing. But you put him in front of my camera and he's like, I don't know what do I do?
Hello,
So I was
Fiona.
very happy with that.
Hello, Fiona from Scotland. Thanks for joining us. Always joining us here on the lives. I think this is Rob. This is completely off topic. No, I'm not. Unfortunately, I'll be in my studio photographing some pre-booked shoots, but I will be watching in between the sessions, and I'll be at Villa Park. That'll be the next game I'm at. Okay, but thank you very much for joining us.
Go sports.
Moving on. Moving back on to photography. This is the second image. This image did really, really well to you in the head-to-head competitions at the PPA, I believe. I've seen it a number of times. I love it. This is one for the wedding photographers. Jen, talk to us about your second image from your professional portfolio.
You know, when you are just like, you take a photo and you like click the shutter and you know it was something special. Every time I'm at a wedding, every time I'm at an event, I'm not there photographing for competition. I'm there photographing for my client to create something that means something really special to them. And this was one of my pandemic, my 2020 couples, and they had waited a really long time to get married at the venue of their dreams. And when we got to the venue, it's at the top of a mountain in the Poconos that has a beautiful overlook of like the valley and everything like that. It was fogged in completely and you couldn't see a view from the top. So I wanted to make sure that when I was creating something for them, I could create something that was super special for them. And he is a downhill BMX bike rider. He rides down all these like rocky things and everything like that. And part of their celebration was that their cake topper was a silhouette of a bride and groom like riding away on a bike. And I thought it would be super cute and super fun to incorporate that into their photo session while getting something that he absolutely loves. And she was just a ball of energy. It was so much fun. She even let him ride the bike into the ceremony.
Wow.
But yeah, so it came out awesome, obviously. And I submitted it for competition in a couple different spots, and it happened to win the first year that PPA did their IPC, their photo competition. It took the diamond for the wedding category, which I never thought I could do it. So it was an absolutely really special moment for me to know that I created something that meant a lot to my clients that could also inspire other people to create and do something unique for their couples instead of just standing and maybe smiling at the camera.
It's a shot with immediate impact, and and I agree with Travis. I do like this image a lot. It's got great feeling to it, because I'm gonna take this off on a bit of a tangent now. We're going to talk a little bit about competition, if that's okay. So particularly with regards to more contemporary wedding images. So the wedding images where people are smiling and are having a good time, and where there are flaws where you would traditionally see them when sort of judging images, they're often the ones that couples choose for their albums. They're the ones that couples choose for their homes. So how rewarding for you as a professional photographer was it to get success with an image that evokes so much fun as an emotion and so much enjoyment?
It was incredibly rewarding. And I mean, you can ask any of my friends that were sitting there in the audience with me. So the way the IPC works is it's a head-to-head competition where like your image goes up against another image, and then judges vote, and one of the images moves on to the next round. So it starts with 32 and then goes to 16 and then 8 and then 4 and then 2 and then 1 in the wedding category. And every time my image would come up against another image, you're looking at that other image and you're like, oh my gosh, that is just a classic, beautiful image that has so much impact and it's amazing. And then all of a sudden my image won. And then it kept going and going. So it was, again, like it just was such a changed moment in my career for me to know that I can still create cool things and compete with them because I love competition. I love image competition. It's the way that we improve our craft and learn what we're doing and doing it better to make some things.
What do you think was holding you back then? Because you mentioned just previous to that how you said you never believed that you could get success within those competitions. So what I'd say, better question, what would Jen now say to that Jen then?
Oh man, what would I tell Jen? Keep going, keep trying. You don't have to be like everybody else, because being like everybody else, you can never develop your own style. You can never develop your own way of photography. You can never do what's genuinely you if you're trying to always copy somebody else. And I would definitely say that that photo is genuinely me, genuinely something that came out of my brain and was supported by the couple and supported by my husband's my second shooter. So supported by everybody who was there, just to have a little bit of extra fun and to push yourself to get something really cool. And I'm proud of it. I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, so you should be. I think Gary likes it as well. Hello from sunny Florida, Gary Hughes. It's an awesome photographer down there in sunny Florida. You should all follow Gary. Go and check out his headshot stuff and all of his creative stuff. I think there's a video of his on my YouTube channel somewhere. He's awesome. I love this shot. I love everything about it. I love the shape. I love the movement. I love the form. I love the choice to do it in this sort of panoramic style. And I love the fact that I could immediately, the minute I saw it, I thought, this is something that should be 30 inches up on someone's wall, if not bigger. And I hope you did sell a big piece of wall art to that couple, or at least it made the album, surely.
It 100% made the album, and they purchased a piece of wall art, but it was not of that image.
Ooh, safer image or a more dangerous image?
A more dangerous image. They actually
really
had a celebration with a bonfire, and we did a silhouette in front of a huge bonfire of them. So that's the one that they printed on metal, nice and big for their home. So
receiving some feedback on my presentation style, always appreciated. Really appreciate that. Thanks a lot. Next week, I'll be bringing my unique presentation style back as we welcome Jess McGovern to the channel, 7 o'clock next Thursday. If you like all things canine, things on 4 legs, she's going to be bringing her 3 favorite images. They will no doubt feature some sort of dog or pet photography. She's a very successful educator and a successful shooter of all things with 4 legs and wagging tails. That's next Thursday, 7 o'clock, Jess McGovern. But we're here with Jen for her final image. This is a real interesting one. I'm going to take on Gary's advice. I'm going to shut up and I'm going to let Jen talk. Talk to us about why this is your 3rd and final favorite image.
So you definitely stumped me on this one. You said pick a photo that's like your favorite of all time. And I had a good think about it. And this is actually a scene that just kind of lives rent-free in my head. When I'm not having a good day, or when I'm not feeling inspired or feeling like a little sad, this reminds me of home and reminds me of family. So this is actually a photo my dad or my mom took, I can't tell, in 1987. And this is one of the first times I went to go meet my grandparents. But my grandparents live on a historical farm, and this is the barn. And I've probably taken a similar photo, and I know many of my dad's many siblings have taken similar photos, and my cousins have taken this photo. And it's not a unique image, but it brings me a lot of warmth and it brings me a lot of joy. To know that I come from a family that supports me. I find a lot of peace being here in this place. And I think this one's pretty cool. This was taken probably on like Kodak Gold film, but this is like 1987. And it still looks exactly like that. It hasn't changed in like 100 years.
So this is all about, I suppose, for you, beginnings, but essentially a bit of family legacy and a bit of background and something that's genuinely authentic as well. So when you look at it, you're actually looking at something real, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is a real place. This was where I was just there, and it's in Coleraine, Massachusetts. I was just there for a family reunion, and it looks just like that. This was almost 40 years ago, 30 something years ago at this point.
Yeah.
And it still brings me the same amount of joy that it brought me when I was like a 2-year-old going and seeing like the dairy cows and seeing my grandfather milk cows and taking a walk to the barn and doing all the things on a farm. But there's so much calm, there's so much peace. There's no cell phone reception there, which in 1987, there was no cell phone reception there either. So like things change, but they also stay the same.
Mm-hmm. Not having cell phone reception is a good thing.
Yes. Oh my
And that
gosh.
must be really cool when you're doing your family reunions down there then.
Yeah, it's one of the most beautiful places in the world to me. It just it brings me a lot of peace, and to know that again I have a big, huge. My dad was one of 11 kids. My mom's one of like 6. So like I have a huge family, and to know that they all love and support me with like my photography career, and know that they're all successful in so many different ways it's really nice. It's just a really nice feeling.
No wonder you take Christmas so seriously. That's massive. How do you even begin to even find the stamps to deal with that? That's an
Oh,
insane number of aunts and uncles.
that it is. I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky.
Okay. What's your? I know you touched on it just then, but what is 100% your earliest memory of going here?
Oh man, I don't know if I can pinpoint my earliest memory, but I do always, when you can close your eyes and there's just like something just plays over and over and over again, like a feeling, an emotion, and everything like that. And this is up at the top of a hill. And there's this winding road that leads to it, and then all of a sudden you go and the car just goes up like this, and you have to get like almost a running start, because if you didn't have 4-wheel drive, this is on a dirt road, like you're not going to make it up there. And like I feel like maybe that's why I love amusement park rides and roller coasters and like all this stuff, because that feeling of just like getting to that road and going up, knowing that you're almost there, you're almost back at this beautiful place.
Okay.
I can still feel it,
That's okay. Sorry, no, that's just clicked something in my. We had a steep road going back to my first house, and every time we'd come back from just going to the shops or something, I just remember going up the steep hill, especially when it's
you just
right.
You just have to go.
I remember my dad making a fuss once because it was icy. We may not have made it.
We went for Christmas one year, and we got stuck at the bottom. And my uncle Bob had to drive down in his truck and load us. I don't know how old I was. And they loaded us all in the truck. And just as brothers do, I remember him teasing my dad about not being able to get the Aerostar van up the hill to go to Christmas. And it stayed parked down there at the bottom. And then we rode in the truck all the way up, for Christmas.
Can I ask, do you have this photo anywhere? Is it framed anywhere? Is it in an album anywhere? Is it physically anywhere as a thing?
Is it physically anywhere? I mean, right now, since my parents sold the house that I grew up in, my childhood home, I actually have all of the negatives, all of the 4x6s, all of the albums of. I think my parents were like Instagram parents before Instagram was a thing. We have so many photos. So I know this exists in a stack of photos. And I know I said when it popped up on screen that this photo probably exists 100 different ways. Same scene, same blue sky, different seasons, snow, autumn, spring, cows in it, no cows in it. So this photo just exists rent-free mostly in my head. And I can just close my eyes and picture like every little window, climbing in the haystacks, and just everything about it.
Loads of adventure for a kid, like a young kid. That's especially with so many cousins as well. Just like a complete adventure playground of a place to go and visit in a very safe environment as well, because you're around family.
Dude, it's a farm. It was a working farm. Like,
so not safe at all.
I mean, is anything ever like 100% safe? I mean, we were unsupervised. Come on.
Of course. Right. So we would not recommend that you send your kids out unsupervised, especially on a working farm. Put your questions in. We've got about 5 more minutes of this. If you've got any questions for Jen, we're going to talk to Jen in just a moment about what talk she's doing in London at the convention. But before that, we need to just announce again, Jess McGovern's coming to us next Thursday. And then the young photographer, Scott Johnson, there at the end on the 6th of November. Young Scott, fresh from his cruise ship photography, will be joining us live talking about his 3 favorite images. Imagine asking him a question live, what sort of response you get. Jess, you love speaking. I've seen you speak at a photography show in Birmingham. You have actually, that one was in London, and you've got such a good presentation way, a good way of educating people and bringing people along with practical advice. The stuff you do that I've seen you do is more based around software, processing, workflows, Lightroom, all the stuff I'm terrible at. Talk to us about your 2 talks that you're doing in London. You've got Beyond the Lens, the importance of post-processing, and Level Up, your AI workflow. You're talking about the artificial intelligence, Jen.
Yeah. So I'm really excited for January and being in London with everyone there. I will be talking about some Lightroom tips and tricks and why it's important we actually take our images beyond just clicking the shutter. So that's one of the classes I'm teaching. And then the other one, I will be talking about how to create some really awesome social media posts where you're not just talking about the weather. Or when you sit down and you're like, what do I post? I don't know. I don't know how to do any of these things. How to kind of hack the system there. So I'll be teaching both of those while I'm in London town.
When there we go. We're going to bring you back. When you're in London town, we're going to be talking about those and about how we can make our social media a little bit easier to manage by the sounds of things, because sometimes it can be difficult when you're sat at your desk trying to come up with ideas, and using AI to use that, because AI is a good tool to use for those things, for inspiration, but ultimately authenticity is key. Wouldn't you agree, Jen?
I 100% agree with that.
We had a lovely little 10-minute chat before we came on where we basically discussed that to death, which was good. Fiona's got a question in the chat, Jen. Here we go. This normally opens up a whole slew of questions when she let one into the chat. But here's one from Fiona. Can I ask Jen what her best favorite photography moment was?
Wow. Oh gosh, that's a loaded question, Fiona. That's not a fair question. My best and favorite photography moment. Man, it's going to be really cheesy.
Go on.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
So I remember coming to London for the first time for societies and not knowing a single person who was there. And I made a lot of friends.
Yeah.
But you leave after, visiting and everything like that. And you're like, oh, well, maybe they'll remember me at some point. Right. And I remember coming back to societies the second year and getting hugs from all these people who I had met the year before. And just knowing that we can connect with people all over the world, other photographers. We live in such a solo career, we're all solopreneurs, meaning we do everything in our business. We're bouncing ideas off ourselves in our business and everything like that. And to know that I can travel and be with a bunch of other like-minded individuals when it comes to photography and sharing all these really cool things might have been probably easily top 5 moments of my life. To know that there's so many people around the world that feel the same way I do, have a passion for photography the same way I do, just really warms my heart.
Luckily, Fiona loves cheese, so the fact that you went for the answer is good. It's genuinely tricky to put yourself out there when you're trying to find people who are like-minded, like you say, because although it's an industry of like-minded people, quote unquote, not everyone is going to be on your wavelength. But putting yourself out there in the first place is the first step to doing that. And I can understand why people might feel anxious about that. And again, you talking to Jen from the past would probably say to Jen from the past, just get out there and do it, right?
I mean, I probably would. I don't know if past Jen would believe a word that's coming out of my mouth. She'd probably be like, "Who are you? Are you an AI clone? Did somebody replace you with me?"
And but like, oh god, am I going to go down this route? Yeah, do it. Who cares? So showing a bit of vulnerability at a thing like a convention, which like in January, it's a good month to go because January is pretty much a down month for photographers. And it doesn't have to be that costly to go to a convention. I think you can go to the trade show for free. When people have said to me in the past that they feel alone, they feel they've taken this step and come to a thing like that, and they feel like they haven't connected with anyone, or they feel like an outsider. I've, I've, I've tried as hard as I can. Like instantly, I just want to help. Right? Does that make sense? And I instantly want to try and find them. I'll try and find them someone who I know will probably connect with them. Right? And hopefully I think I'd like to think the sort of people that go to those sorts of things would be like-minded in that way as well. So sometimes just by showing up and showing a little bit of vulnerability, not having that front, which I know is really difficult for some people, but if you can do that and just asking that question from someone to help you can often open up a whole world of other relationships. Because like the photography industry for me, as I take over this conversation completely, the photography industry for me has opened up in terms of like knowing people from all around the world, like, you know, Gary in the chat and Scott from Essex and yourself there from Philadelphia, and all of these weird and wonderful people from all around the world who I now sort of like know a little bit better. Does that make sense? And that doesn't really happen in many industries, right?
No, I mean, a lot of times you'll get to know like your coworkers or like your high school friends or whatever it is. Like we live and get to exist in such a cool industry where we are connecting with people who create things and create art and work with all types of different people. And it's really cool.
It is really cool. Question from Gary Hughes. Do you bring your camera with you when you travel?
That is an excellent question. It depends. It depends on where I'm going, to be completely honest. When I plan a vacation that is like an adventure vacation, so my husband and I went to Colorado in August. We 100% packed camera gear because I knew we were going to take some really cool images. But if I find myself traveling to like, I don't know, Disney World, I typically will just rely on that handy dandy best camera that's in my hands all the time. Sometimes it's just really nice to live and exist in the moment instead of always trying to create something award-winning or photograph everything. It is really nice just to exist sometimes.
Clip that. Whoever's clipping this, clip that for the highlights of these talks. That's incredible. No, I feel I concur 100%. We take a Polaroid. A bear stole our Polaroid camera from the Poconos last time we visited there.
Still looking for it.
Some big grizzly or brown or black bear or something. Someone nicked it. So we had to buy a new one, which is actually better now because the new one we bought takes better pictures. But we take a Polaroid camera with 12 images every time we go away on holiday so that we only take 12 photos per holiday so that we're not obsessing over the camera. And so that the images we get, we actually value because they're tangible and real straight away. They're things that actually exist. And if there's a blink in them, cool. That's what happened. You blinked. Who cares? You know, enjoy the moment. Enjoy the moment. That's the cool thing.
Live in the moment. Yeah.
Live in the moment. It's great to see you back at the convention in January, Jen. Just before we go, for the people in the chat, what movie is the cinema from? There it is. There's the cinema. What movie is that from? Tell the people in the chat.
It is from a very famous movie, The Blob, the Colonial Theater in downtown Phoenixville, Pennsylvania.
And Phoenixville is absolutely beautiful. Really, really blown away by how amazing that high street is. The pub quizzes need a little bit of sharpening up, but I don't know. We'll work on that next time we come. Jen, where can people find you on the internet, my friend?
They can find me pretty much on Instagram at Uncorked Jen, as you were just showing. You can follow me along on Facebook as well. Jen Takes Photos, or my company Fox and Brazen are both.
Fox and Brazen. 2 sessions in January, though. She's not in Phoenixville in January. She's in London, 17th and 16th of January, teaching you your workflow. She'll also be in attendance during the 20 by 16 competition, won't you?
Yes, I will be there.
20 by 16 competition is going to be great. Get your 20 by 16 entries. Join us free for the live judging, one of the greatest education platforms you can possibly be a part of. And you get to speak to the judges if you want, if you're kind enough. So
bring them chocolate, bring them candy. They like you so much better.
Yeah, we're proper judges. We judge in front of a live audience, and we don't mind how our feedback is taken, because we can stand up to it, because we stand by it, because we love the way that Terry has drilled us to give our feedback at the 2016 competition. It's good fun to meet up with everyone. Come and join in all the fun. Jen, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Thank you, everyone, for joining us in the chat. Remember, next week, Jess McGovern talking about pets. And after that, some lad named Scott Johnson. Can't wait for that. And spoiler alert, got Hannah Nerritt lined up. We got Therese Aspland lined up. And we've got Australian photographer, landscape specialist Tony Hewitt lined up for November. It's a big month, November, for these live chats. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you all soon. All the very best.